how bad did it get before the trigger, you sort of hit your own tripwire?
I was stretching the fabric of my extra large shirts. I was ready to get shredded. And that's how I got started, with just like 30-minute workouts, 5 days a week. It was really approachable. I think my story is like, if you're a dude who wants abs but isn't ready to give up beer or wine or dessert, come with me. I will show you the way.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the BODi Experience. My name's Carl Daikeler. I'm the CEO and co-founder of BODi, and this is where we help you navigate the challenges of, staying consistent with your own fitness and your own healthy eating. I know I need that. I need that inspiration. So we're going to learn from people who've had to conquer their own obstacles to achieve some pretty outrageous results. I think what you're going to see here is amazing and is going to help you. So today, we're going to talk to Artie Maier. He's actually a BODi employee and has been here for almost 17 years. So let's bring him on and get inspired to get some real healthy results. Artie?
Hey, Carl.
Hey,
Thanks
buddy.
for
Okay,
having me.
let's start.
Thanks for inviting me.
Let's start with the tough question.
Oh, okay.
You were here at BODi for almost 2 decades. I mean, didn't you and I like fly around in a private plane together, getting testimonials?
Yes.
Was that for Power Half Hour or something?
Oh, no. I mean, we were going to these like whistle stop tours all over the country, and like early Shakeology success stories and Power 90,
That's right. I remember that. Well, and now you're the senior director of BODi Stories. That means that you see every single success story that we get. How long have you been doing that?
Almost, yeah. So I've been with the company almost 17 years. I've been specifically doing success stories and results focused stuff probably for the last 12, I think, 12 or 13. And even the early stuff I was doing in the production team, like with Beachbody Network News and the $1 Million Body Game, a lot of that was success story focused. So I've been doing this for a while, and I wouldn't say I've seen every single BODi success story, but I've seen tens of thousands of them for sure. And they're all really inspirational.
Tens of thousands. So if anybody would have had the inspiration of what the outcome can be, what the benefits are, and how people can overcome the struggles, you would have seen it. But even that was not inspiring enough for you to take action for yourself, I guess. So that's where I want to start. What was your experience of looking at all these stories, and why didn't you jump right in for yourself? Like what was the experience?
Yeah, that is a hard-hitting question, Carl. It's like, thank you. Thank you for starting with that one. Well, I didn't start out overweight. I think when I joined the team, I was super fit, and I was really fit growing up. And I even participated in like the Rev Abs test group a long time ago and got like ripped. It was just really over the last, 6 or 7 years that I just started slowly gaining weight. It was after I got married. And I saw it happening slowly. It snuck up on me, and I knew it would happen. And I kept looking at myself in the mirror, and it's like, I've seen worse, like I've seen people come back from way worse than this. I knew I could do it. I knew how to get the results. I was putting it off. I was procrastinating. And honestly, I was dreading the thought of working out. Like the thought of exercise in my mind was like this big extreme event, and I wasn't looking forward to it. It had to be hard. Like it was challenging, and I knew that. But I didn't see it as fun. I dread is a good word. I dreaded it. So that's kind of what was stopping me for a long, long time. And also knowing how easy it would be to get it back. Like I could do this. So that was kind of in the way. And then we started talking about health esteem and shifting the perspective about the whole experience. Like it stopped being something to dread. It really turned it upside down, and it reframed the experience for me. So instead of dreading exercise and seeing it as something that I wasn't looking forward to, I started thinking about it as a treat. And like, this is how I'm treating myself to health and treating myself to the life that I want. So looking at it from that perspective, now I'm highly motivated to work out every day and to fuel my body properly, um, because I'm building something good for myself. And I don't know, it's just that mindset shift. It really helped me clear the obstacles.
I'm not gonna let you off the hook that easy. Um,
All right, all right. I did feel
well,
like a
because
hypocrite for a while, honestly. Yeah.
it's really fascinating. I never thought about that. That when you see how remarkable and miraculous the results can be for people, like wow, they did
Hmm.
that in 21 days or 90 days.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're like, hey, I'm going to let this. I'm going to let the good times roll because I know I'm going to be able to dial it back in a matter of 21 to 90 days, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you sort of head faked yourself into this. Uh, hey, why do I need to handle this right now? So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's get to though. How bad did it get before the trigger? You sort of hit your own tripwire.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, I was steadily gaining weight, and I was stretching the fabric of my extra large shirts, like the 2XL, and it was really testing the capacity of those things. So that was kind of a wake up call for me. Like, do I want to go into extra large,
Yeah.
And but I didn't want to body shame myself. I really took the time to get my mind right at the beginning. And that was another big thing of health esteem, so I wasn't like beating myself up about it. And even though when I saw myself in the mirror, I was like, oh, you're kind of a fat piece of like that would roll off me, like I was
Mm,
completely shameless about it. Like the normal motivators of shame and self-loathing just did not affect me at all.
mm,
Those didn't move the needle for me. Um, but this message of health esteem of like, oh, I love myself, like that resonated for me. That helped me move the needle because I agreed with that. I do love myself, and using that as the motivator to inspire the journey and to fuel the fire with loving yourself, like that is clean burning fuel. That worked for me super well. But yeah, over the time seeing those stories, it was like, I did feel like a hypocrite. I felt like a doctor who tells people to work out and eat healthy, but doesn't do it for himself. We get lots of stories like that.
right, like the doctor in the office smoking while he's telling you to quit.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
we basically announced Health Esteem in October 22 and started to reinforce that. We had the first World Health Esteem Month in January of 23. What was it that actually triggered you to take a sobering look at your behavior and start to take action? And then what did you first choose to get back on track?
Well, I think it was a combination of things. Viewing exercise as a treat and like this whole lifestyle as I'm doing something good for myself, and I always feel motivated to treat myself and to feel better and to feel good. So that came naturally once I shifted my perspective and saw it that way. Um, because you can always count on me to treat myself. Like, so I just needed to make that mental connection. I needed to bridge the gap and make the mental link between exercise and eating right and fueling my body well and feeling good. Like intellectually, I knew that those activities were healthy for you and were good for you. Like, oh, that would be really good for me if I did that. But there are tons of things in the world that are healthy for you that you just don't do for whatever reason. Maybe because you
Yeah.
don't want to. Um, but once I made the connection that like, oh, this is what I need to feel good, and I want to feel good. I love feeling good, so that helped me a lot. And I also think it's my midlife crisis, Carl. To be honest, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Artie, you're way too young to be going through a midlife crisis. And thank you for the compliment. But really, the signs are there as I'm looking at it backwards, and I'm connecting the dots. I'm 38 years old. The average American lifespan is like what 77, 76, depending on what year's data you're looking at. So I'm right in the middle. I'm right there, and I don't think it's a coincidence that right now I'm making life changes
Mm,
and
mm.
finally creating the life that I want. I'm not procrastinating anymore. So I think that has something to do with it. That's kind of a wind in my sails. and Health Esteem is clearing the way, and it's full steam ahead towards Health Town and happiness for me. So
Amazing.
I got started in April with body blocks. So I did all body block. I did Shaun T's T25 super block and another all body block. And that's how I got started, with just like 30-minute workouts,
Yeah.
5 days a week. It was really approachable, and it didn't have to be extreme. I bargained with myself. I told myself I didn't have to do anything more than I wanted to do. I could just do my best and literally forget the rest. If
Yeah.
I only felt like going so hard, that's only as hard as I would go.
Mm.
And that got me in the room. That got me into the gym, and I surprised myself when I was there how much I actually wanted to do and how much I ended up doing. I really wanted, once you're in the workout, like I felt like challenging myself. And I just did as much as I wanted to, and it ended up working. So within the first 3 months, like I did those 3 body blocks, and I had already lost about 20 pounds. And that's when I started hearing about this new test group coming up that Shaun T was doing, because I saw him in the T25 super block. Shaun T was so like I've been following his career, and I noticed Shaun T has been gaining some muscle, and I'm like, whoa, buddy, what's happening here? Like Shaun T now is huge. I'm like, I wanted that. So I heard he was doing a bodybuilding program, and I had like an audible outburst in the middle of the meeting, like, I'm in, like, I want to do this. I forced myself into the test group, basically. And and that experience was awesome.
Now, so let's go back to the beginning, though. I just want to be, people can get intimidated by, and maybe I know I wouldn't have the same sort of this healthy mindset approach that you've got. I would literally be beating on myself, which is probably one of the reasons that I helped create Health Esteem, because I realized that it just didn't make sense to be miserable with myself until I have an outcome. So the whole point of Health Esteem and the vision here is that people will love themselves and do this for themselves on their way to an extraordinary life transformation. Now, but that goes beyond just fitness. Did you change your eating habits? Did you supplement in any way? What was the rest of your protocol?
Yeah. Well, I started doing the workouts, and I definitely cleaned up my nutrition. At first, I was just kind of, just eating more salad, and I, I do like whatever I thought healthy food was like. And I've done the portion fix before, so I've had some general sense of what that looked like. But it wasn't until I started the Dig Deeper test group that's when I really got serious about the portion fix nutrition plan, and I followed that pretty much to the T. It was awesome.
That's great. And did you add any supplements to the plan or not?
Yeah. I've been taking Beachbody Performance Recover, and for a grown man of my size, I need a double shot of that after every workout. And I've been doing Energize before my
You do
workout.
2 scoops of Recover after your workout?
2 scoops, yeah. I'm a grown man. My goal is to build muscle and get swole like Shaun T, I think is what I wrote on my application. So every month I get 2 tubs, and I go through that every month.
I'm going to have to read up on that. I've only ever taken 1.
Carl, let's get swole. Let's do 2
This is the
every
breakthrough.
day.
This is the breakthrough.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently that's what I need. And Shakeology, man, every day. I've been really getting into the eat more dessert craze. I don't know if you've heard about it, but
yes,
I'm a guy who loves dessert, and it's a non-negotiable part of my day. I need wine, I need beer, I need dessert. It has to be fun. I have to enjoy it. So my lifestyle, this healthy lifestyle, has to include all of those things. And fortunately, I've been able to do that. I think my story is like, if you're a dude who wants abs but isn't ready to give up beer or wine or dessert, come with me. I will show you the way. And that can be your button for the beginning of the episode.
You are the ultimate BODi Experience interview. That's perfect. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's all about enjoying the journey, man. You got to enjoy it. So I'm still having fun with my food. Shakeology allows me to do those healthy dessert swaps. I really love these cake pops, chocolate cake pops. I got into the super fudgy brownies, and right now I'm doing every day, this chocolate mug cake every day. It's like it's one scoop of Shakeology. It has 4 ingredients: Shakeology, applesauce, chocolate, just chocolate chips, and an egg. And you mix it up. You put it in the microwave for 3 minutes, and it's this delicious, decadent like dessert. And I love it. It's like gives me joy. I can't believe this is healthy. So that's
Okay, so that is the perfect segue into if you're having mug cake and cake pops. Uh,
every day.
tell us how much. Tell us how much weight you gained and how out of shape you got doing this
No,
program that you're
I've been
talking about.
losing weight, Carl. I've been drinking wine and beer and having cake every day, and I lost 40 pounds. Oh, it's so true, and I feel unstoppable. I mean, this is what's going to help me stay consistent, Carl, because it's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So walk me through the experience of Dig Deeper.
All right, dig deeper. Gosh, um, I signed up for the test group basically, and I told them, this is a quote verbatim: "Prepare to be amazed," because I
Oh,
was basically feeling. Sorry, can we curse on this? I don't know.
sure you can.
Bleep bleeps.
Yeah.
Earmuffs, kids. No, I was on a roll at that point. I was 3 months into my journey, and I was ready to get shredded. I'm like, I'm ready to get shreddy. So I signed up for the test group, and what an experience. It starts with building your muscular endurance, and those workouts. I went from 30-minute workouts to they're supposed to be 50-minute workouts, but my body was so accustomed to 30 minutes that I felt like I was hitting a hard stop right at the 35-minute mark.
Mm,
And I hate to say it, I stopped a lot of the time at like 35
mm,
minutes or 40 minutes. I
mm.
only did as much as I wanted to, Carl. I was only doing as much as I felt like doing. And that was the deal I made with myself. So I did my best. I pushed as hard as I wanted to for as long as I wanted to. And then I stopped, and I didn't hate on myself about that. I was like, this is me enjoying my life. So I did that. And then the next month, was it that was the time under tension training,
Right.
and the results came fast. Honestly, let's just back up. Like in the first week, I I lost 5 pounds in the first week. Like it was crazy. Like, and then I don't know. I was keeping track. I was weighing myself every day, and following the portion fix nutrition plan. And I don't know, the results were huge. So I've been gaining muscle steadily throughout that experience, and yeah, I can see like the measurements in my chest and my biceps and my legs get bigger while my waistline is getting smaller. So the physical results are coming, and I'm just feeling better and better about myself every day. So I've really enjoyed Dig Deeper. I think that program
Well,
was great.
it's a great story, Artie, but I want to ask you just a tough interim question.
Okay.
Have Because your attitude is fantastic, but it doesn't sound like you ever encountered resistance or challenges in the midst of it. And I don't I don't know if that's reality. I don't know if you just have this viewpoint that just plows through, or did you have to navigate any challenges that threatened your consistency?
I mean, there are days when I had to work super late, and it was like, am I really going to work out at 9 p.m.? Because I work out after work. And I just did. And I think it was the test group experience, and I felt a personal responsibility to get it in no matter what.
Mm,
Um, and that helped me push through it. But honestly, I think if you really take on the mindset of health esteem, you don't have to force yourself to do this anymore. Like that was the problem before. I felt like I had to force myself to work out because it's something I didn't want to do. It was something I either had to trick myself into doing it, or I had to somehow, I felt like I have to force myself to do it. But
yep.
now it's something I genuinely want to do. And I am moving things around my schedule to protect that 30-minute workout period like it's my nut, and I'm protecting my nut. So it's just a change in perspective. So
Yeah. Now,
it's
has real life, you're married now, has real life uh, um, challenged that routine that you've got, like vacation or holidays that you've had to navigate with the
Mhm.
schedule that was otherwise running on autopilot?
Yeah, there have been times where, like, we have guests coming over, and they're staying over in the guest room. Like, am I really going to work out while we have guests over? And the answer is yes, I am. Like, I just it's only 30 minutes. I scream, I make a lot of noise. I'm right there in my gym, and I just do it. It's for me. And we did go on vacations actually in the middle of one of my body blocks. We like went on a wine trip, and you know what? On those days, I didn't work out, and I didn't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And I had a birthday in the middle of, actually, my wife and I, our birthdays are really close together. We're about a week apart, and we both had our birthdays during the Dig Deeper test group. And on her birthday, we went wine tasting, and on my birthday, I completely stuffed my face with barbecue. And I feel zero guilt about this because I'm enjoying my life, and that's kind of the whole point of this, is to
Yeah.
enjoy my life. So as long as those moments are just kind of less often, as long as I'm working out and eating well most of the time, it allows me to just enjoy my life for the other time. I don't know. I'm always enjoying my life. I don't want to say, like, it's not like you're on or you're off. Like, you're
Yeah.
always enjoying your life.
Hmm.
It's just, it helps, health esteem help me, like, not beat up on myself for those moments where, I do want to go have a wine tasting, and, maybe I don't work out that day, like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right. And well, that's what consistency does for you. Consistency allows you to have some inconsistencies
Right.
because it's not like you're crawling into a deep hole, which has been my pattern. That is that when I go off, I'm off. I'm off for months. And then climbing back out is that much harder. Okay. So to wrap this up, Artie, I'd love to know what you're doing now. And do you have any goals right now? Or like, where are you in your health esteem process?
Well, right now, actually, just yesterday, I finally finished the Lift More Super Block. So, cheers to me. I got my
Well
badge,
done.
and that was awesome. I've been working on that one for a few months now. It should have only taken me 3 weeks, but really stretched that out over the holidays, and I finally finished yesterday.
Got it.
But I'm just,
Well,
over the holidays, I was kind of treading water and just kind of maintaining and having fun. And now I'm really getting back into it, and I'm doing it in earnest and really reaching for more goals. I think the next one is, I don't know, if I'm being honest, I still have like a little layer of belly fat I could get rid of, but honestly, I'm just focusing on feeling good. I think I'm in a good place. I just want to stay here, honestly. So I am now working out 5 days a week. But even if, like, over the holidays, I was only working out like 2 days a week or one day a week, and that's okay. So right now I'm back into it. I think next I'll probably do another round of Dig Deeper, or I'll do the original Lift More program because that was a lot of fun with Joel
mhm.
doing the super block. So I think next for me is probably Lift More, the original.
That's awesome. Well, you are a great example of what we would like the BODi experience to be. A combination of great structured programs, a fitness approach or a nutrition approach that is reasonable and allows for real life to happen, and the entire way taking care of yourself and your own self esteem. So, Artie, I'm super grateful that you made the time for this, and appreciate all you've done for the company for 17 years now, and continue to help us inspire people at BODi Stories, and look forward to seeing what your transformation continues to be.
Oh, thanks, Carl. I love being here. Thanks for sharing my story.
Awesome. Thanks, dude.